Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today, the top 10 fictional plays that should actually tour in theaters. Sometimes the best parts of movies or television are hidden in snippets of productions which you never fully see. In this case, we're talking about plays which are able to be viewed by fictional audiences, but not by us. Personally, we think this is a bit of a crime. These pieces of audacious entertainment should absolutely be put on real-life theater stages. With enough input by the original creators, these plays could be the surprise smashes that could run for years. Number 10. Oh Africa, Brave Africa from American Psycho. In the 2000 movie American Psycho, serial killer Patrick Bateman gives an intriguing account of his last meeting with hatchet victim Paul Allen. When Detective Donald Kimball questions Bateman, the psycho responds that he last saw Allen at a new play called Oh Africa, Brave Africa, which he describes as a laugh riot. It is simply a throwaway line in the movie, however it does fire up the imagination. The 1980s were full of misguided attempts to help the African continent. If Oh Africa, Brave Africa was a Broadway musical set in the 1980s, then a large part of the joke, kitsch, and fun of it all could be that the producers were probably completely serious while creating a comedy classic. Try and imagine a melodrama with preachy dialogue accompanied by the music of Queen. Imagine someone climbing a mountain to protest apartheid while doing a glam rock version of Ebony and Ivory to display the dangers of a forbidden love affair in Johannesburg. Bateman could realistically see it being all a joke. It would be a joke, but it would not be one that the producers would get. It would, however, be a classic to this day. Number 9. Funny Boy, Gilligan's Island. The idea of a musical version of Hamlet is generally panned as a terrible idea. However, stage, television, and film suggest that the idea is universally lauded. In the Gilligan's Island third season show, The Producer, the cast performs a song entitled Funny Boy, which is part of a musical version of Hamlet. TV Guide ranked The Producer as the third greatest sitcom episode of all time. There is no reason why they can't recast the Gilligan's Island troupe for Broadway's sake and have them do a complete run-through of their production. Number 8. Manhattan Melodies from The Muppets Take Manhattan. Okay, so how would a big-budget Broadway musical starring the Muppets not be awesome? That being said, Manhattan Melodies, the play that they keep trying to get made in the movie The Muppets Take Manhattan, has the benefit of actually taking its cue and vision from Jim Henson. If real, the story of a frog, especially with the added dogs and bears and chickens and whatever, conquering the Big Apple and marrying that special pig of his, would be a natural success. Going back to the original Muppet Show, audiences are used to the sight of the Muppets on stage. If they used the songs from the movie, as well as an emotional performance of the Rainbow Connection, you could add a couple of new showstoppers and tour this one for years. If The Lion King can be a critical and box office smash, Manhattan Melodies, at the very least, deserves a chance. Number 7. True, starring Brian Griffin from Family Guy. In the Family Guy spoof of the Y2K scare entitled Da Boom, there is an inspired idea which really needs to be fleshed out on the stage. In a post-apocalyptic theater, there is a scene of Brian the dog doing a one-dog show as Truman Capote called True. Now, in the late 1980s, there was an actual one-man show called True done by J. Preston Allen. However, with Brian's reimagining, you would have to add several factors. First of all, being post-apocalyptic, Brian would not have an actual script. That is how you get the "I'm such a bitch" line in the cartoon. The truly great meta portion would be staging the entire play as if it was done in the alternate reality of Da Boom. This could be done in the introduction, welcoming them to the theater. In addition, you would actually get Seth MacFarlane to dress up in a dog outfit in order to deliver the play as Brian Griffin. Audiences would flock to see MacFarlane on stage delivering comedy that Brian would have no clue that the audience was not taking completely seriously. Number 6. Prisoners of Love from The Producers. At the end of The Producers, something called Prisoners of Love is hinted at. Of course, the joke is that Prisoners of Love is being done completely by male prisoners. Basically, it would be Jailhouse Rock meets Brokeback Mountain. The lone exception is at the end of the 2005 movie, when it appears to focus on an all-female prison. Of course, this could merely be a scene introducing a warden visiting a female prison before he goes on to fall in love with a male prisoner. Basically, try and imagine the Shawshank Redemption where Andy and Red have a love affair spanning decades with songs featuring lyrics by Tim Rice. Due to old-timey intolerance, Prisoners of Love might not have been a tour-worthy show in the past, but society might have finally caught up to the concept. The key would have to be bright, happy tunes that would have no clue they'd offend anyone. Number 5. Peter Griffin presents a Peter Griffin production of The King and I from Family Guy. This is definitely not the Rodgers and Hammerstein version of The King and I. As a matter of fact, the Peter Griffin produced edition from the episode The King is Dead has more in common with Flash Gordon than classic Broadway, and has a Rocky Horror Picture Show cult following just waiting to be birthed. In this version, the main character is still Anna, only now she's ANNA, standing for Automaton Nuclear Neo-Humanoid Android. She's essentially a fat, bulky robot ninja. Anna comes from the planet England and has traveled to the planet Siam in order to overthrow the despotic rulers in the name of the United States of America. After the 9th nuclear war, the world is a grim future filled with lots of explosions and partial nudity. There is an army of bikini-clad hot daughters of the king who just happen to regularly participate in all-female sex orgies. Anna is sent in to clean up the royal house. You have to love any concept that could literally be renamed Plan 10 from outer space and still work. Number 4. Hamlet 2 from Hamlet 2. If you have never seen the movie Hamlet 2, then you have missed one of the smartest comedies in the last 3 decades. The movie revolves around a drama teacher who is informed that his department will be cut at the end of the term. But does he give in? Well, no, he decides to go out with a bang and write the sequel to Hamlet, which is set among American teenagers. The original Hamlet totally lives due to a fortuitous time travel accident. Along the way, Hamlet meets Jesus and teenage girls get inspired. The signature song that we see is entitled Rock Me Sexy Jesus. It is so unbelievably terrible that it would automatically qualify this as a must-see. The play itself would probably morph into Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure meets Springtime for Hitler. The goal here would be to be as offensive and catchy as humanly or maybe even inhumanly possible. Theatre could always use a kick in the pants, and a full version of Hamlet 2 would certainly qualify. Number 3. Elephant the Musical from The Tall Guy. If you have never seen the 1989 comedy The Tall Guy, then you are heartily encouraged to see it as soon as possible. The movie stars Jeff Goldblum as a down-on-his-luck actor who plays the straight man to a boisterous comedian. Goldblum's character is literally billed as the tall guy. After the firing, he finds work in the musical Elephant, a musical version of David Lynch's The Elephant Man. The song that we hear is entitled He's Packing His Trunk. At the end of the show, they talk about an angel packing big ears. The movie describes the play as a nasty send-up of Andrew Lloyd Webber. The only thing that would make this play concept better is if Disney Pixar actually turned it into a musical cartoon. Number 2. Planet of the Apes, the musical from The Simpsons. Bart Simpson said it best. This play has everything. In the episode A Fish Called Selma, Troy McClure stars in a musical version of The Planet of the Apes. The high watermark is the parody of Falco's Rock Me Amadeus entitled Help Me Dr. Seuss. This play needs to be fully fleshed out just to see what else they could come up with. Another reason this needs to be made is that today's humor focuses increasingly on potty humor and pratfalls. There needs to be some sort of reminder that parody can actually be a legitimate art form. The only sad part is that Phil Hartman, the voice of McClure, is no longer around to star in the live production. However, if done correctly, the play could be a fitting homage to Hartman's legacy. Number 1. Springtime for Hitler from The Producers. So it's The Producers again. This time we focus on the horrible play the two producers attempt to intentionally create. This play is, of course, Springtime for Hitler. In the 1968 version, Hitler is played by actor Lorenzo Saint-Dubois, LSD, who portrays Hitler as a completely clueless stoner. In the 2005 edition, the LSD character is done away with completely, and Hitler is played by a flamboyantly gay director, Roger Elizabeth Debris. There is no reason why the stage production of Springtime cannot portray Hitler as both incredibly gay and completely stoned. It'd be perfect. The audience would get the joke that Springtime is a parody in spite of the best intentions of the producers. Besides, a great curiosity would be what other songs could be added to this gay romp for Adolf and Ava. So I really hope you enjoyed that video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for brand new videos every day of the week. Also, I've got another channel, it's called Today I Found Out, and on that channel we have content very much like this, but we dive into one specific subject in more depth. You can check that out through the icon on the screen now. But if you're looking for something else to watch right now, why not check out another Top 10s video, or indeed a Today I Found Out video over there on the right. And as always, thank you for watching.